The only thing harder than Jin Woo's entrance and saying arise is how hard collectively the anime community is after watching Soul Leveling episode 18. Women included. We're all collectively hearing the sounds of things hitting the top of desks as we're watching this greatness. Without a single doubt in my mind, best episode. Period. I wasn't sure exactly how they were going to go about this, but they delivered. The way they got across such a realistic level of fear, everyone other than the leader froze up completely. Nothing wrong with that. Most people probably would have shit and pissed themselves on top of what happened there. But that man tried his damnedest. He knew they weren't going to survive this. They knew they weren't going to live, but if they can maybe kill the boss, that's the most important thing. His face was impaled to the ground. He was so brutally destroyed within a few minor seconds, and our boy comes in with the coldest and hardest save known to man. Doing force chokes, saying, "Don't worry, I'm him," and summoning a freaking army. And to watch the human Beyblade in action, jumping around in the middle of a freaking fight, turning his own people against him, and looking at him saying, "You're next," is the hardest freaking shit they could have done. And the only way you make it better, to put that cherry on top, is to have people in suits roll up and say, "You saw nothing here." They basically almost pulled the Men in Black thing where like, you forget this, just don't talk about this. And best of all, this girl, who's already established she loves the scent of Jinwoo shit, has the audacity to say, do you think he thinks I look cool? Do you think he knows me? And I'm just like, bring on the next episode, baby. This is exactly what I wanted to see on my birthday. This was freaking great. Of course, you want to support my work, see my full thoughts and excitement to this amazing Soul Leveling greatness. We got the Patreon, full live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. Watching an episode like this, I need the fan animation of this man fighting Titans in Attack on Titan. Could you imagine? Like, just imagining with how he jumps around. This gave me Attack on Titan energy when the boss got into his giant form and our boy was still jumping around, stabbing eyes. I'm thinking, man, we would have solved the Colossal Titan real quick if we had someone like him on our side. Jesus. The entire fight was so good because you felt like there was such a difference this time. He's obviously stronger than even the last time he fought with the Winter Elves in that episode. At the end of the day, though, there's just a different element of he's him energy here. The confidence and the fact that at face value, the boss had the right idea. I just have to, okay, sure, you can unlimitedly summon your army, but you can only do that as long as you have mana. And then he just pulls from thin air on a potion, and he's like, what's that? The boss at no point gave the energy that he was scared he was going to lose, but he always had an element of concern like, this may not be good. To watch just... I couldn't imagine another studio doing Soul Leveling other than this. They have nailed a style of an army. The orc characters that they were fighting were noticeable 3D, but not in a bad way. Like, the way they animated them was just, I loved it. And I think it really helped that they were like this kind of darker crimson red kind of design. It helped to blend in. But the shadowy forms and how, like, obviously, if our boy would have just stood there and done nothing, his army would have been getting cut down too quickly to the point of, he would have been in harm's way. So he had to get involved. And the way he jumps around and is slicing and dicing, we have armor knights popping up and slicing dozens in one go. Like, it feels like when you play zombie video games and you got a really cool weapon and you're just cutting through them like they're paper mache. But the best part was when this man got serious and he turned into a giant. And just the fact that our boy was so confident in the fact that, like, very nice. I love all the new Pokemon I've captured, but I'm coming for your ho-oh ass next. And it's like, the fact that we don't have to hide this anymore, or at least pretend like we're keeping a secret, The fact that he immediately jumps in and says, "Hey boss man, is it okay if I do all this? Gotta make sure." And he's like, "Yup." Or the fact that he's like, "Hey, I probably don't want to take all the loot. That's probably not nice, but I'm sure they won't mind if I take this dead body." And the fact that he just can do this now in front of people. Most are collectively stunned because you have to remember the fact that a talented mage could be like, "Hey, I can summon maybe 2 at max." We're not saying that's the top level of this world, but that's a pretty talented level. So you could assume maybe an S rank, maybe some of the best, a dozen would be enough to blow people's minds. And this man's summoning dozens upon dozens like it's effortlessly. Not to mention the fact that he's fighting like a warrior, but also has all these summoning abilities. His entire build makes no sense at face value. And all people can do is just say, "We don't get it. This makes no sense, but thank you, dear God, for saving our life." This was hype. It really was. And I think really what was probably the actual cherry on top was when that man was sitting at his desk. And basically the conversation is like, is he stronger than me? And this dude looks at him and says, "Honest question, do you think you could solo?" Because at the end of the day, this world works in teams. Like, that's how it's always functioned. That's how it is. But do you think you could take on a higher level A rank dungeon by yourself? And he's like, yeah, probably not. And that says it all. Jinwoo's not even at the top of where he'll go. We see what people like his father can do. Like, imagining the potential of where this man's gonna go. As less things are being kept a secret, the possibility is endless. The animation was fire, the art direction was clean, the poses were badass, and I think collectively that crowd would have all gotten on their knees if he asked them to. If you catch my drift. Like, I figured they were gonna cook. I'm just happy that the boss put up a fight. I really didn't want just cut his head off and it's done. Those have their moments and those have their badass aura moments, but like, this was the appropriate way to go about this. You let me know your thoughts and feelings, especially if you're a Source Reader. I'd love to know how people thought about the adaptation. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Corbo, Casper Joel Jensen, Anthony Nugan, Adam, and we also have George Parra, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, you all have a good one.